All right, while I'm running my Doom Tower, I've been thinking about this for a few days now, and I thought it would be fun to talk about with you guys. This is going to be one where I'm really going to encourage you to get down in the comments and let me know what you think, because I'm sure I'm going to forget some things here. So let me know what I'm forgetting. Let me know your thoughts on what I talk about and your thoughts on what I don't talk about. We got the dupe system, right? The dupe system's been like arguably community-wide the biggest thing for a while now, right? That's been like the main thing everybody's been hounding Plarium about and waiting on. I would say probably most of the players that quit have quit over that. Most of the players that are ready to quit over that. I think the dupe system's been probably the biggest point of contention community-wide in Raid. Now it's been announced, right? Great, it's done. So now what? What's going to be what needs fixing now, right? What things need improving in the game now? For me, I'm going to talk about some of the things that I would like to see them start to work on next. Some stuff that I think is still a problem. Since day one, my number one point of contention has been the cost to remove gear. I think that it's aggressively expensive for sure, and it would be fine. I'm not opposed to the cost inherently. I'm opposed to the cost of gear removal, and that there's never a time to do it for free, ever. It's always that expensive. They did the 50% off thing one month, which I think was dumb. I think it was dumb. I don't think that's a solution. I think that's really stupid. And now they're offering it in that pack, or not pack, that like series of rewards where if you don't play for a certain amount of days and come back, you get this welcome backpack. Maybe only if you've spent money too. We did Darth and some of the guys. We did a video on it the other day, and because he saw it for the first time. So go check that out if you haven't seen it. I'll card to it. That's not a solution to the problem. It's not a solution to the problem at all. It's stupid. There needs to be a time where you can rearrange your gear without spending the silver to do it. Like, it doesn't need to be all the time. I don't want gear cost removal scrapped. I don't. I think it's healthy for the game. I really do. I think your champs being locked into the builds that you give them, quote unquote locked. You can switch it around, but you're more inclined to wait when it's free, right? If that's ever an option. I like that. I like having a build, sticking with it. I don't think it's healthy for the game to constantly be able to move your gear around for free. I think it would be terrible for Arena, for like Rush Hour and stuff in Arena. If people could constantly be swapping gear around. I think that I don't like that. I don't want it to be gone forever. I'm cool with the cost. It can cost as much as it costs right now. There needs to be a time. Summoner's War, I think, nailed it. Once a month. For a long time in Summoner's War, it was once a month. There was a 24-hour period, server-wide, once a month. I think it was the last Saturday of every month or something. Where you could move your gear around. And it was a big deal. It was a big day in the community every month, right? It was like everybody was pumped about free gear removal day. You got to move your teams around and try some new things and experiment with some champs and not have to pay so much to do it, right? Because it was pretty expensive to remove runes in Summoner's War as well. So I think that's such an easy, obvious way to do it. And as Summoner's War has grown or gotten, older, they've implemented more options, right? Now there's like a little ticket you have where you can have a 6-hour period to do it whenever you want to do it. I don't know how it applies to Arena. I don't know if it's messed up Arena. I haven't been in Summoner's War in a while. I'm not saying I want all that right now. I just think one day a month, community-wide, gear removal's free. You open up so much more possibility for your players to test and just do more, right? It's fun. It really is. It's great for people that do gear reworks for people. There's no negative. This idea that they think it's going to break the game if it's ever free to remove gear is silly. Like, I don't believe that they think that either. They clearly took a lot from Summoner's War, right? So Summoner's War is kind of the roadmap of these games. A lot of these games very heavily copy what Summoner's War is doing. One of the things that I liked so much about Raid early on is that it was clear that they followed the blueprint, but they definitely tried to make their own game too, right? They did enough things different that it stood out heavily, on top of just having different graphics, right? It's not a carbon copy of Summoner's War like a lot of these games are, right? It's one of the things that stood out to me when I first got to Raid. But I think that's a pretty reasonable solution. I'm open to hearing other ideas. What you guys think are other potential solutions for the problem, but it's definitely a problem. And for me, it's still the number one point of contention. It's always been my number one point of contention, even more than the dupe system. I'm kind of conditioned over my years in these games to just understand that I have dupes and it is what it is. It was annoying for sure, don't get me wrong, but it's never been my number one problem. My number one problem's always been gear cost. The removal of the cost of gear removal is what I'm trying to say. So that's a big one that I think they need to work on. I think that there's some quality of life stuff that still needs doing in the game. I think the tavern is very clunky. I would love to see them do some work in the tavern, as well as the artifact filter system. I think it's super clunky. It's really aggravating that every time you make any kind of change to the filter, it jumps you all over the place, right? I don't like that. I think there's ways to fix that are relatively easy. It could default to, when you make a change in the filter, to even just collapsing all the tabs of gear instead of opening them all back up, right? Because what I like to do is collapse all my tabs, scroll to the sets I want to look at and work, but then every time I change something in the filter, it opens everything back up, right? And I have to go up and do it all over again. Seems minor, but when you're working on someone's account or your own account or whatever it is you're doing for hours, it adds up. It's a lot of extra time scrolling around fixing the fact that the filter keeps moving you to different spots in your gearbox. So I think that's a big one. I would love to see, even more than the tavern, I would like to see the artifact filter, the clunkiness of that system worked out. It's definitely doable. It's not that, I know that it's not that hard, and I don't even know how to code it. I don't even know anything about that, but I know it can't be that hard to just change a little bit of how it responds to the filter being changed. That has to not be that difficult. So I would like to see that done. What else would I like? We'll do like a top 3 things that I would like to see. Gear removal cost for sure is something I would love to see addressed. Artifact filter. And then what else, man? What else do I think is a real problem in this game? I think they're reaching a point with this game where they need to start considering, if it's not being done already, they really need to start considering live PvP. The game's not dying by any stretch. I don't think the game is dying. I think it's still one of the top mobile games. I think it's a great surge, though. It creates a completely new scene, right? There are a lot of players that like Arena. And there are a lot of players that play this game almost exclusively for the PvP. There's people that love that. And the live PvP is going to be the same way. It's going to be such a breath of like fresh air. It's going to be create such a fresh new scene for the game and open up so much more potential for things for Plarium to do. I hope that's at least in the works. Like, I hope that's not something they're just now, or like not even thinking about yet. I hope that's in the works, because that would be huge. There's a lot of really cool things that can happen from that, and it's very entertaining. Even if you don't like to do it, it's a lot of fun to watch. It opens up a lot of possibilities for the content creators to do things, make content together, host tournaments. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things that can be done with that. So I would hope that we at least start to hear some news on that sometime soon. I don't expect it to come out soon necessarily, but I would love to start seeing some announcements like, hey, this is something we're working on. In that Raid Digest thing they do in Discord. I would love it if we saw something like that soon. Because again, it opens up so many possibilities. So I think those are like my 3 things. I know there's more for sure. There's tons more things I could talk about. I would love to see more diversity in the events and tournaments. I think there's so much room to be creative there, and they're just not doing it. That's another one. I mean, there's tons. So I'll leave it there. I'll leave mine there on the table. You guys can tell me what you think about those, and then I would like to hear what kinds of things you're keeping an eye out for. What you would like to hear next from them, whether it's fixing something in the game, whether it's adding something to the game. More champ balances. The new clan boss. I know there's a lot of things that a lot of different people are waiting on. So I'm very interested to hear your thoughts on all this, where you're at with all of it, and what it is you're excited about for them to add or fix. And that's it, man. We'll leave it there. I appreciate you guys watching. I'm excited for the discussion on this one. And we'll see you later.